Hi, I'm Mark Smith with Macroscopic Solutions, and today what I'm going to be talking about is how to use the Petrographic Analyzer. So the Petrographic Analyzer is a light box that's placed beneath your lens that allows you to photograph slides in thin sections. So the way it works is there's a polarizer built into this analyzer, and if you need to cross-polarize your materials or cross-polarize your light, then you have the ability to do so, and usually that's very common in geological materials. And also if you just need standard images of slides in thin sections just in plain light, then you have that ability to do so as well. You just would eliminate the use of your second polarizer. So I'm going to walk you through how to set up this system, and then I'll walk you through how to take plain light photographs, and then I'll show you how to take images using cross-polarization. Primarily we're going to be using the MPE 65mm, but the approach is exactly the same if you already use the micro kit. It's just that if you need to cross-polarize using the micro kit, you'll place your polarizer in between the objective adapter and your lens. And I'll walk you through how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the setup. What we're going to use here is our small vertical stand. It's a 7-pound lightweight stage that allows you to orient things vertically. It's essential if portability is important for you. If stability is more important, we also have a 20-pound base, which is also available at the same price. It's just the problem is it's very difficult to transport a 20-pound stage. So what we end up doing for the Petrographic Analyzer with the small stage is we just 3D print a little stage booster, which fits right here around the stage, and that allows you to set your analyzer on here level because it's going to hang off the stage a little bit. So in case you're wondering what this is whenever you receive your Macropods, that's what that's for. Okay, so the way this works is it's a light box which we can power on, and it has 2 slots for your flash heads and then a built-in polarizer and also analyzer. So you can actually rotate the plain light glass, allowing you to actually rotate your slide and your specimen around a center point. So all that's going to happen is this is magnetized. It's just going to latch right onto that vertical stage and then be positioned there. Okay, so we're going to use our standard Macropod tripod, and what you're going to do for this is you're going to extend the front leg like you always do at a full 90 degrees, and we're just going to completely remove the bottom leg. The other thing you're going to do is take the other legs, extend them all the way at 90 degrees, and you're just going to slide the stage down on the stainless steel rod, just like that. And then you can tighten it up. So, because we give you a few different lens options, one thing you can do is you can utilize this adapter bracket here, or you can utilize the adapter bracket down here. Chances are if you're using the 1 to 5x lens, you're going to want to mount your camera down low, just because you need a shorter working distance. If you're using the micro kit, where it's really long optics, you might want to switch to moving your camera up top and up high. So, what we're going to do, again, we're going to take our adapter, we're going to go down low, we're going to start with low magnification optics, and we're just going to use our thumb screws to position the adapter right on the stack shot, or right on the tripod arm. And one thing you can do is you can let it drop, and that will actually give you a little bit more support for the tripod, so it doesn't slide down that stainless steel support. But it's very strong. This clamp is very strong. This isn't going to go anywhere. The other reason that we generally shoot horizontally is because we want to reduce our vibrations. Vibrations are very detrimental when you're focus stacking or trying to use high-powered optics. So one way to actually counteract that is, instead of having this mounted on one axis and being susceptible to vibration, is actually tucking back these legs into a locking position. Then you can slide the whole thing back right up against a wall, just like that. And now what we've done is we've stabilized the whole system, so there's no vibrations in here anymore. So it's really handy to keep those legs on there and use them for added support. Okay, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the stage that we're familiar with using the Macropod, and we're going to replace it with the stock adapter, which allows us to mount our camera onto the stack shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a 9/64 Allen key. So everybody should have an Allen set like this one. You're going to take that's the 8th. What we want is the 9/64. And we're just going to go ahead and back out these screws here. So there's just two, only two screws, so nothing too crazy. Make sure you don't lose these screws that goes without saying, but make sure that they're always in there so that they don't become lost. Okay, so we're going to back these out. And then we're just going to set that stage to the side, and then we're going to mount our adapter. Now this can go one of two ways. We can either mount it this direction or we can mount it this direction. It's going to change your working distance in either case, but it's nice to have that flexibility depending on which side you orient it, but in this case we're just going to orient it up high. Okay. Again, don't over tighten these, just sort of gently give it a nice tug so that those bolts are nice and firm and in place. We don't need the Allen key anymore, so we're just going to put that back and close it up. Okay, so you can either mount your lens directly to this, your camera directly to this, or what I like to do is take off the adapter, which is up here, and vice versa. If you're using this adapter, which is up high, then only keep one on the tripod. You're only going to use one, so you can use the other to actually mount your lens directly on the stack shot. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So we're going to take these thumb screws, put them to the side, and now we're going to take this adapter plate, and we're just going to use our thumb screw, and we're going to tighten this adapter into place. You don't need two, you only need one. You just need to properly align it and make sure it's really tight. And the way to get it really tight is to basically tighten this thumb screw. Keep your adapter a little cockeyed, so a little bit kind of at the 10 o'clock position. Make sure you get that thumb screw really tight, and then hold the thumb screw in place with your left hand, and then tighten the clamp with your right hand until it's completely straight. So you just want to look and eye up that your lines are parallel. And now that thing is really snug. It's going to take a bit of force to dislodge it, but that's all you need is just one thumb screw, and that's going to keep it really tight and in place. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just mount this directly on that adapter plate. Then you're going to take your MPE 165. We're going to mount that into place. Again, always keep two hands on here when you're clamping it down. You don't want it to drop or fall on you in any way. You just want to make sure that your analyzer is directly beneath the lens, so you can eye that up now. You want to get your stack shot ready, which is what we're going to use to raise and lower the camera. So I have a power plug here. I'm just going to take this, plug it into the wall, and again you can use a battery if you prefer less cables. We're going to stick that there. We're going to remove the dust cap. Again, be very fast with dust caps. You want to make sure that dust stays out of your lenses and camera. Go ahead and mount the camera body. Set these to the side. You're going to take your flash. Now, if you notice, I took off the aluminum plates. You do not need the aluminum plates on here, but if you leave them on there, they shouldn't get in the way. But either way, you could just take those right off. You're going to slide your flash into place. Lock it, and then you'll take your left flash head, click it into place, and your right flash head, and click it into place. There we go, and the cables are out of the way. Now we have our camera completely set up. We can take the dust cap off the front of the lens, and what we can do now is power on the light box. So again, I have a power cord here. This is for the Petrographic Analyzer. You'll just plug this into the back of the box and plug that directly in the wall, and that'll give you power. So now that's on, now we're ready to mount a thin section. So thin sections come in all shapes and sizes. In the geological sciences, they're about 54 millimeters. Biological sciences, they're higher than 70. These are fairly small. So everybody also receives a number of step-up and step-down rings. So they look like this. In this case, what you're going to be using are the step-down rings. And what they allow you to do is mount different sized thin sections onto the analyzer. So we're going to take the step-downs, I can get them open. Oh, there we go. And we're just going to mount them directly into place. So the size adapter that's on there is a 77 millimeter. So you're going to take off the 82 to 77 and just mount the 77 into place. So you'll do that just by threading it in. And then if you need a little bit more room, again, you can take and put the rest of the step-down rings directly on there as well. There it goes. And we'll just go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, so we'll take 2 of these off, or 3. I don't think we need to go that small of a diameter. Not for these examples. So you can play around with this and just kind of get the desired diameter that you need. And now instead of putting your thin section directly on the glass, you actually have a bit of a stage in order to do it. So we're going to take one of these out. These are, I believe, are stromatolites. Yep. We're going to take this and we're going to place it directly on top, just like that, and now we have our slide in place. Now, one of the advantages to using this type of approach is we're bouncing our light off of a diffused base. So differently than petrographic microscopes or standard dissecting scopes or other microscopes, the light is usually very intense from beneath the slide, and therefore it produces a lot of glare coming through cracks in minerals or just other areas that really capture the light. And here, because we're using light to bounce off of a diffuser again, we're getting diffused light, so we're going to cut out that glare almost entirely, and that's going to lend itself to getting a very high quality result. And you'll see how that works a little later. So we have a few more things to do here just to finish setting this up. One is we can attach our external power pack. We're not going to be taking a lot of images, so it's not necessarily necessary, but if you do want to speed up capture time, it will be necessary. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to mount this to the tripod arm and then connect it to our flash, just like that. Then we're going to connect our stack shot to the servo cable. So we're going to use the x-axis again for z-stacking, just like we do for the Macropod. We're going to connect our camera to the computer. So we're going to take our USB cord. Again, we're just going to drape it over top of the tripod so it stays out of the way, and attach that to the camera. And then we're going to take our power, external power, and we're just going to mount that to the camera as well. Oh, already have a battery in there. Let's take that battery out. We'll use an actual AC plug this time. Go ahead, get that in there, close the door. We'll set that battery to the side, and that's the camera just about set up. Let me just double check. You will do a quick glance over. We have our camera to USB to the computer. We have our camera's power. We have our stack shot powered. We have the motor powered, and now what we need to do is connect the camera shutter to the stack shot. So we'll connect the stack shot up to the remote trigger in the camera. Okay. So now if you need to change your working distance, you can power on the stack shot and you can use the up arrow. The up arrow is going to pull the system further down and closer to the sample if you need it. And likewise, if you're going to magnify, then you can magnify by changing the magnification in the MPE 65 and then change your working distance there. And you have a few places to change your working distance. You can move where the stack shot is. You can change this adapter around, like I showed you before we started setting it up, but you have a lot of flexibility to change your working distance here. But like I said, in the meantime, we're going to start with a 1x optic, and then we're going to get a contextual photograph of our sample in place. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that in the following tutorial video, but all in all, that's the standard petrographic setup, and this is what's going to allow you to photograph slides in thin sections. So stay tuned for the next video where we'll go through and walk through image capture.